guys, welcome back to Coffee Corner. So last week we discussed a few topics, me and a couple of my girlfriends. This week, me and these ladies are going to discuss some few things for you guys. And I'll introduce them, well, they'll introduce themselves right now.
Hi, I'm Asia.
I'm Chastity.
And I'm Iva.
Alright, those are my lovely girlfriends who are going to discuss today's topics. So I want to know if you guys, when it comes to relationships and getting involved with someone, does their kids or them having kids play a big role in continuing a relationship? You know what I mean? Like, does it matter? You know, does it matter if you do or you don't have kids coming into the relationship? I just want to know. But I'll give you guys my opinion really quick first. Like, I could care less, you know what I'm saying? And well, it's funny.
It's just selfish. You don't care.
No, you don't care. No, I don't care if he has one kid or 11 kids. Because what does it have to do with me?
Right.
No, and that sounds bad,
It
but
has something to do with you.
And it has everything
I feel like
What kind of relationship do you want with this man?
Correct.
no, if it's a really, like, we're working towards something. I feel like if you give me the attention I need, the space I need, if I'm, you know, I could be actively involved with your kid's life, but it has nothing to do with you and I's growth. You know what I mean? Does it make sense?
It
Right.
depends.
It
I
does.
understand what you're saying, but
Right.
to me it matters because of me, by me being a mother, and even when I wasn't a mother, you know, dating someone with a child, it made me view them in a different light in terms of their character, who they are. Like, do you take care of your kids? Are you responsible? You know, are you well managed? Like, how are you in this child's life? It leads me to believe what kind of person that you are. Now, I have had a friend who has dated someone who had a child, but he wasn't taking care of his child, and she didn't care. She was okay with that. And if I dated a guy and I knew that he had a child and he purposefully did not take care of his child, that would make me look at you slightly different, and I don't want to deal with you anymore. You better take care
Were
of
you
your
dating
kids.
somebody with kids?
No, I'm definitely not dating anyone with
See, I
kids.
feel like, how could you exclude somebody?
Because I don't have any kids, so I don't have that obligation that a man with children has. So if we're on a date and his child gets sick and fall off a bike and break his
But
leg,
see, that says a lot about your character and, you not being understanding.
but I don't have obligations, so I can't date a man who has all of these outside sources and I don't have
What do you
anything
mean
else.
all? What if it's just one child?
That's the outside source for me.
You said all.
And honestly,
1, 2, 3,
But
4, 5.
if you're saying a kid in addition to whatever else he got going on, that's just gonna be added.
honestly, I don't have kids, and I absolutely understand your need or your want to be selfish, because obviously, you know, when Stacey speaks, she says, "Oh, it doesn't concern me." But when you are actually full-fledged in something with a person who has children, it absolutely has everything in the world to do with you. You know what I mean? Just from
I think it has to do with you, but it wouldn't stop me from pursuing
You
not
you.
so
have
much
that
as
perspective
it's
because
not-
you already have a child.
But
and
it's
you're a
not
parent.
so much
So,
as
yeah,
stop.
I
It's
think
just so
that's
much
why.
as you know, you never know. I mean, the men you're dating with kids that you're in this relationship with, the parents, that child parent can die. The mother of that child can die. So at that point, you take on that responsibility, and or are you ready to maybe step in as that child's mother and or help raise that
But
child?
like I said, it's gonna come down to your character because you have to be willing to do that once you date a man with kids. All this is going to the back of your head.
Willing, yes, if that's what you have to do, but understand when you're in that situation, it becomes a whole nother ballgame.
And I'm not saying that I've never dated a guy with children. However, I prefer to date a man who doesn't have children. Yes, I have dated men who have children, 1, 5, and we had some success and we had some failure. So it's all in what you want.
Your preference.
Now let's flip it. Kind of like, how is it with a woman dating a man and she has children? Because I understand the need of selfishness, and sometimes I feel bad because I might want to spend more time with someone, but I understand where my priorities lie.
Right.
And like, I'm the type of
Do
person.
you think guys like not date women because they have kids?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's one guy told me it's really common that women have kids, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not shocked that you have it," and that kind of like made me feel some type of way. But regardless of that, back on the selfish part of it, I feel bad sometimes. Like, I don't like going on dates during the week because my child needs to be in bed at a certain time. I have to be an active and attentive parent, and it's just me, you know. So I don't want to compromise her bedtime, her scheduling, or anything.
Right.
Now, maybe during the summertime when I have more free time, that's when I'll do it. But you know, on the weekends, Friday, Saturday nights, that's fine.
When do you introduce your kid to your significant other or someone you're dating?
When
you have a kid, when?
when you determine whether or not how serious you want to be with this person, and once you and this person has had a conversation about what next step you want to take with the relationship?
Because I've seen way too soon of introductions, you know, with these kids and these other men.
And how does it make the kids feel?
And
That's
like
what I'm
speaking
saying, like,
from,
I've seen.
I don't have kids, but if I'm in a situation with a man who does, I don't want to meet your child.
I'm like that
Day
as a
one,
parent.
day 2, month 3,
Yeah,
month 4.
I'm kinda
Like we need
I'm
to
no,
make
for
sure
sure.
that maybe this is something, cause you ain't gonna, I'm not gonna be playing
Yeah.
stuff.
I dated a man who actually used his children. He had multiple children against me. I was
Use
at work.
them against you?
Yeah. So I was at work and like randomly someone called on the speaker. I do have little visitors. And I go down and there's these 2 little girls like, oh, my dad's outside and he just wanted to know if you wanted to go to lunch. I'm not talking to your dad right now.
And you can't be
why
with
are
the kids.
Yeah, so now I have
use
to
the
escort
kids.
them out. Like, okay, guys, let's go. So
Guys will use anything and everything,
Including their kids.
including their kids.
including their kids.
Okay, so speaking on relationships, we'll just stay on that subject since we got a lot to say about relationships. Now, I had another question that I was just curious about. Okay, I'm just gonna give you an example. Asia, you're dating someone and you find out he used to date a friend of yours. Do you stop dating him? I asked this question at work and the responses were like mind blowing because I'll tell you guys how I feel. It's gonna depend on how close this person is. You know what I mean? And a lot of people was just saying like, no, it's just completely off limits if I find out you was dating somebody that I know. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's just gonna depend. Like if I'm falling for this person and 2 months later I find out he dated my associate, I'm gonna still date this guy. You know what I mean? No, you feel different.
No,
It's the same.
no,
Okay, anybody
I feel
feeling
the
different?
same
Somebody.
It depends on the closeness of the relationship between you and that friend. It's not
Yeah.
about you being petty or bogus or anything.
Yeah.
But it's more so about, you understanding the relationship you have with that friend. I'm like, if it makes you happy, it's not about being trifling. Now,
Yeah,
if this is your
'cause it
best friend or someone you grew up with or a girl you kick it with all the time, it's not
Right.
just associates, not just your party
Yeah.
buddy, but someone that you call all the time, check up, that's a hell to the
But what if
no.
they ask for your approval?
And that's what I was gonna
Like,
say. I
we're
think
we're close, Ashley. I mean, Chastity. But we're.
I'm kidding.
But
Who am I?
no. Right, where is she? No, we're close. You and
Yeah.
I, right? And you dated a guy. However, I like him, but I act like. But we're close. You and I. Like I said, it depends on this relationship. And I say, Chastity, I know you used to date him, but I want to date him. You say yes. Like, would that straighten this relationship?
I might say yes just to test you and see what you're gonna do
But
as a
clearly,
friend.
this is what I want to do.
But you are an adult and you can do whatever the hell you
But
want to
that
do.
put a
But
strain on us.
It may put a strain on us because I'm thinking backwards. I understand that at the time maybe me and him were together, you didn't think 2 shits about him, but it's gonna make
So
me
you're
think.
thinking like, right?
It's gonna
what
make me
happened?
think. Well, when we were together, how did you feel about him, and have you been plotting? And-
No, just it's a mental thing. I don't want to vision you having sex
Right.
with somebody that I had sex with.
Right.
It's just not gonna work for me. If we're friends,
But
and
I
we're
said, Asia, I
friends,
want to date him.
I'm gonna say no. Absolutely not.
What do you think?
He seen
There's
me
plenty of
nude, I
fish
seen
in
him
the sea.
nude, and you gotta
Right.
direct your attention somewhere else. I can't envision that and still look at you and say that you're my friend.
Sure.
Now, if we're associates, that's a completely
Right.
different
So
story.
that's why-
but I'm very serious about my lines of friendship. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you know,
I
if
wouldn't
you
be asking
right,
you that.
you know, if you my friend, you know, you can't come to me that way. But if you're an associate, have at it. You know, if I cried to you about him, he's off limits.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
That's a
beg
good
to
rule
differ
of thumb.
because I've actually been put in that situation where I'm not from Chicago. I moved to Chicago. I dated this man. For about 2 or 3 months, we were intimate.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my very close friends met him.
Very
close friends met him down the line, and she was really into him. I was not into him. Honestly, when we were dating, it was all about going out, having a good time. So the day that I met him was the day that we found out, oh, this is the guy that I used to date. This is him. Okay, and she was very upset about it. She cried. We talked about it openly, him, myself and my friend. And we came to the conclusion that y'all can do whatever y'all want.
So did
I
you just
see
let
that's
them
a
be?
different
Yeah.
circle.
But how's her relationship? right now?
We're still besties. We're besties.
Really? See, it can work.
But I think it's under different circumstances, and she
Yeah.
did that with no ill intentions, and she had absolutely no clue. So she walked into that situation
Yeah.
thinking that was the man that she met. You know what I mean? And that's a completely different story. And at that point, they had been dating for a while, so it was feelings there. You know, compared to it being a situation where if you knew that was the man that I used to deal with, your vision for him should be non-existent.
Yeah,
you shouldn't even be open to the idea.
But do you guys?
that.
This is it wasn't originally a question. However, I want to ask you guys: if you're dating a guy, guys lie. I'm gonna put that on record. And he doesn't tell you he's with somebody. You find out he's with somebody, but you fell in love with him because you didn't know. Do you continue to see him after you find out he's with somebody, or do you what do you do with your feelings? I just want to know. These are questions, Asia. Is it hard? Okay, that was just me.
It's not hard.
Okay, well, tell me.
I care about myself, and I have to love myself, and I have to think of my best interests. Now, obviously, you grow up, you're an adult or young adult.
So, okay, I'm saying in that scenario, what do? You leave him alone and cry about your...
would try my best to leave him alone and not talk to him and let him know where my standards lie. I'm not going to be a second fiddle. You need to figure this shit out.
Right.
You can be with her if you decide later on to not be with her, you try to come back to me. At that point, I will decide whether or not I want to continue anything with you. But when I first find out, you went against my trust.
But you guys, this is easier said than done. Because I
Well,
said
that's
love.
what
You fell in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier.
But it's gonna hurt. But I don't. Maybe it's because of the point that I am with myself. I'm just like, fuck that.
I think I think that's what it is. I think eventually you reach a point in your life and your everything that you come to a point where it's like, I can't allow that in my life. I can't deal with that. Like, I'm over it.
So do you cut it completely off? Do you still have sex with him? Do you still text him?
Like, at this point in my life, I'm cutting you off. We don't need to talk. We don't need to have a conversation. You don't value me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
But in the past, I feel like as young people, we've all done it. We've all been in those situations.
I feel like
but
it's
think
just,
we reach a point.
it's kind of hard when, like I
And
said,
it's very common.
Right.
That's what dating is.
You think that's what dating is. It's just trial and error and trial and error.
But you have to set a standard for yourself. I feel like initially, once you start dating, because dating is just like we're going out, we're eating, we're getting to know each other, getting to know each other to see if we would like to be in a relationship or see if we mesh well. And then once you guys decide to be in a relationship and you've fallen in love with this person, and they're with somebody else, you intentionally knew. I hold you accountable and responsible, because you knew what was going on, and you chose to.
And like along those lines, I think it's such an eye opener. Because that guy who maybe was in a relationship with that woman, sometimes those women are great women. You know what I mean? Like great women. She's at home. She's doing everything she should be. She's committed. And so for you to cheat on her, that just is so much about me. You know what I mean? You got a woman that's willing to do anything.
But we have to think about ourselves also, because we could have a good guy that's doing everything that we want them to do, and we're bored.
Yeah, we
You
always
want something
attract
different.
what
I'm
we
not
want.
bored. I'm not bored.
No. What I'm saying is, I feel like as young women dating, I like to call it teens. You've always had like, not like.
I know, I get it.
But like you have a few people, and that's how most people are when they date. You don't date exclusively. That's why it's very common. But once you get to the point where you've done a date exclusively, you let other people know, hey, I can't talk to you anymore because I'm dating.
But I think what makes it so hard is that we as women, because it's very common. Men are dating, women are dating other people, people are just dating other people. I think we get so comfortable with the fact that we have someone there, and there's someone that I can talk to, there's someone that I can go out with.
Yep.
There's other guys, so for me, I'm dropping you immediately.
So would you date more than one guy at one time?
Yes, and I will let them know that.
Okay.
However, if I'm exclusive with someone, I'm going to say, it's me, you and I.
Be honest about it.
Okay. One last question. I'm going to wrap it up. I just want to know, it'll be really quick. What is your initial attraction to the opposite sex? Initial attraction, clearly it's going to be a appearance thing, you know what I mean? But do you go a little deeper?
So I have a whole list. Let me tell you my list.
She got her chili list. Remember Chili had his list?
No, but I like them. I like them to be well groomed. I like them to have teeth, for their teeth to be aligned.
Okay, I know. Also, at your second. No, I'm just curious. But do you mentally check these things off when you meet a guy?
No, I don't mentally check them off. But when you're meeting someone, like, I don't always go for the most attractive, what everybody thinks is the most attractive. But to me, there's something that stands out about him. He could walk in a room and demand presence without being, he's just a great guy. So that's what I'm attracted to. And I'm really attracted to personality. So I love that.
Personality. Asia?
So I'm a little weird.
Okay.
I'm not interested in like that guy. You know,
Okay.
like what would be considered like that guy. Like I don't
Like traditional,
want
like,
that.
I
Like I don't
tall, dark,
want
handsome.
the guy that's popping the bottles in the club. Like I don't want the guy that. Here's the thing: I want you to dress nice, but I want you to be subtle. I don't want a man that screams for attention. Because any room you walk in, you want attention. That tells me that you want too many women. Ain't nobody got time for that. So
That's
like,
true.
I don't want
But you know,
that
some girls.
guy. Like I just want the guy that's chill, that's cool, that just want to be chill and be cool. I don't want the guy that everybody knows his name. Now, if a few people know his name, okay, I can't help
It's
that
crazy,
maybe.
you know,
but
some
I
girls
don't
flock
want
to that guy.
I don't want
But
that guy.
some men are that guy, but they don't choose to be that guy.
But I feel like you can see that about people. I feel like you see the man who wants that attention, and then you see the man that just gets that attention.
Right.
So if you the man who just gets that attention, maybe. But if you the guy that wants it, I don't want you.
For me, what I like about a guy, other than physically how they look, I have to be attracted to the way that you dress.
Okay.
That tells me a lot about who you are. I like an artistic, very open-minded type of guy. And I would consider myself open in a sense where I don't always go for the traditional guy. I like who I like. I'm more of a personality type of dater.
For sure, you get that question. What's your type?
And I have different types. Like
I want a man that.
What's your type?
I want a man that's so intelligent but so hood at the same time.
Yes.
That's who I want.
I don't know. I
That's
actually
very
don't
hard, man.
have a type. You know what I mean? I don't have a type. You can't you guys know some
You
guys.
have a type.
Mm,
He's a moneymaker.
my guys are saying wrap it up. All right, so
They're not saying that.
He's a money maker.
No, I was trying to get away
He's a
from this
money maker
question.
type.
She has
Oh my
a
God!
type.
All right, you guys don't like. You know I don't like when it gets this personal.
It's
Anyway.
okay. I have a
Anyway,
type.
do you do sex as soon as you meet them to find out if that's what's gonna play a big role, or do you wait and it's not? You know what I mean? Like, do you guys get the question? No.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
get
get
the
it?
question.
Okay.
Like, because sex is a big part of a relationship. and
Right. So do you wait for it and then do it, or do you do it when you meet the guy?
It depends. Like, when I meet a guy, I'm not necessarily thinking about sex. Obviously, we're sexual beings, you know.
You don't think when two people, male and female, initially meet, they're not thinking about sex?
I think they're attracted. I'm not saying I've never thought about having sex with somebody
When you
after I
first meet
see
them.
them.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, whoo, I wonder how that would be.
You've
But
never had that though?
I didn't say,
Oh.
what I'm saying is, yes, I've had that thought
Okay, I'm just
before.
making that clear.
However, I'm not going into it like sex is determining this relationship.
Okay, that was my question.
Right.
Every
So
single
no,
time,
right.
it's not.
oh,
Do you ever go in a
let me
relationship
check
thinking
in.
like, I wonder how sexual would be with this guy?
Well, I'm a sexual being, so I
Okay.
definitely think about it, but I don't go into every relationship wondering if sex is going to make or break it. However, I have been in a relationship and I was not physically attracted. The sex was horrible.
Do you voice that when the sex is horrible? Do
Yes.
you let them know that? Really?
I let
Asia,
them know
do
for
you?
the next person.
Asia, I feel like that's a hard
Not
conversation.
even just for the next person. You might want to groom him into the man.
Okay, how does that conversation go? I didn't like our sex. What are you doing in bed?
Well, they're definitely going to know because your body language is different. I'm not putting
People
it up.
fake it all the time.
I'm not trying to fake it. No, I want you to know.
I'm just saying, like, you don't have to let it be.
No, I've had this conversation. I've been in a relationship for years where I was not sexually satisfied.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, you went on for years, so you didn't let him know.
Yeah, I did. It didn't change, so we're not together.
But for years, you wasn't sexually satisfied.
I was not even sexually active at that point. So.
I understand completely how
I
you
was
feel. And it
frustrated.
could feel horrible where this person initially is like attracted to you and they're talking about all this sex
That's what I'm
stuff.
saying, right? Then
But
you do
then-
it,
And then it's a big letdown because it's like, don't text me about sex. It's trying to
Right.
have phone sex with me, but then when it gets down to having sex, there's something clearly wrong with you or me where you
I
can't
feel like the
function
biggest
well.
sex talkers are like,
Yes,
like,
But it's an easy conversation for me to have because it's like I'm comfortable with myself and if we're comfortable enough to get naked with each other and for me to allow you to enter into my body, I should be able to express to you
I feel
how
like
I
that's
feel.
a hard conversation for me to tell
It's a hard decision for me to decide to let us become intimate.
That's true.
So it's a more easier conversation for me to tell you what works for me, and because you have to. Everybody isn't the same.
Right.
What Asia likes is not going to be what you like, what
Right.
I like, and what I like.
Okay, but what if there is something out of their control, like a small penis? Like, what do you say?
And
to
it
that?
Well,
may be,
then
and there's other things
You
that
can
maybe
tell
you
most guys
do.
who have small penises compensate in other ways.
No,
Okay.
no.
They
No,
they
that's kind of
should.
true. Right, they should. Not
But
saying they
regardless
do.
of that, you know, you can date someone who, if they're, because sex isn't everything, but as long as we can make the sex work, it's not about the size, it's about what
Right,
we do
that's
with
what
it.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, do you all not feel like you can just like it can be something about a man that's just so
That you
maybe
disregard the sex?
enticing that you just-
Yes.
That the fact is just not that important.
I think that
like, it's
you
just
can,
not.
you
but-
Or you
can.
appreciate, or you appreciate it even though you know it's not the biggest. It may not be the best, but you'll feel it just because it's coming from him.
You may still have a chemistry. So in my
Okay,
situation,
right,
it just
right.
wasn't a chemistry.
Okay,
Like,
right.
We didn't have sexual chemistry. I was not attracted, and that was that.
Yeah, but you can definitely let them know, and like you said, not just for the next person, but sometimes people don't know what's going on, and unless you tell them, it's like walking around with your pants unzipped. And at the end of the day, you get home and you realize, what? And I've been in front of all these people and nobody told me anything. You know?
that's
Or like
same.
no, that's because
It is.
when you're being intimate with someone and no one has ever told you what is wrong, and you've had these failed relationships, it could have been because
well,
of
probably like-
ultimately, I've never had a man say, "Hey, you're bad at sex," and at that
Right,
point,
have
I
you
know
had
I'm
somebody
probably
tell you
not
you're bad at
great.
sex?
And
No,
so, like,
it-
that's just disrespectful.
But it's all about the
It's
chemistry.
not about
It's
being
about the
bad
chemistry
at
that
sex.
you
Yes, it
may
is
have.
probably
it would be
So-
like, I enjoy this.
Or a lot of times people get comfortable with what they're able to do. Well,
Yeah.
what you did for Asia, just like Chastity said, may not be right
What
for
I
either.
Well,
Right.
sometimes I am very uncomfortable with telling somebody that the sex was whack and I fake it.
Why?
On that note, yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm so uncomfortable to say like this was horrible.
Well, if you care about that person and
Right.
I want the best for you, and it could be just me. No, honestly, it could be just me. Maybe we're just not a good mesh for each other. But I wouldn't want you
Okay, so
walking
coach me,
around.
coach me in a moment.
I wouldn't want you
Tell me what to
walking
say.
around.
However, if we're not a good match for each other, I'm not coaching you.
I'm still
Like,
coaching you. I care
Chastity,
about your
I-
Chastity,
Well,
tell
I
me
don't
what to
care
say
out
to
there.
him. If
You
I
can
got
say,
up and
you
the
know
sex was
what?
horrible, what do I say?
I would say, I enjoy sex. And at this moment, it was not the most enjoyable with you because
Is that a realistic conversation?
yeah,
Okay, I'm just
and
asking.
maybe I'm crazy for that.
No.
But
Yeah, I think you're crazy. Because I
Because I feel like I wouldn't get up and say that.
Not the most
I
enjoyable.
haven't had
But,
this
okay,
conversation
you in school,
multiple times. I haven't had the
teacher.
conversation multiple times. It just happened.
You
that,
have had
that
the
time.
conversation?
I have had the conversation. But I think it was easy for me because this person knew that something's wrong with my
yeah, I
girl.
became
You know,
frustrated.
like,
It's not
Right.
fair.
See, if he's sensing it, then
Right. So I would do things like I would try to tire myself out before he got off work. Like, oh, I'm gonna clean the house, I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna wash
Excuses to get out of sex when they're not
Right.
sex.
No, I would just say, no, I'm not going to have sex with you. We're not going to have 5 minute sex.
You're a little rough.
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel strongly about this because I've been through this before and it absolutely sucks.
But no, I've been through it on the end where the
Would you-
sex sucked, but I didn't know what to say.
Girl,
And maybe I
didn't
just
say
haven't
I didn't
experienced
say anything.
And
Why
maybe
did
I
you
just haven't
continue to ask?
experienced really bad sex.
Why would you
Therefore, I
waste
never
your
had
time?
that
Lucky
conversation.
you.
No, that's a good question.
Why
I
would you
waste
waste your time?
my
Your
sexual
time and your body is valuable.
I
and
mean,
it's
I
not
didn't continue to
be
have
toyed with.
sex. I just didn't know how to tell him I don't want to have sex because he's not good in bed.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've never
I know
had to
that.
have
Alright.
that conversation. So I
Each
guess
conversation
I'm
is different.
Each conversation is different. Each
Clearly.
topic it's gonna be different. We've talked about everything here today, from tummy tucks to what do we talk about, girls?
Sex, physical
What are you
attraction,
attracted to?
children.
Kids, relationship stuff, guys. So here on Coffee Corner, we talk about everything. No discussion or topic is off limits. But we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna get out of here. It was so much fun today talking to you guys. Iva, tell them where they can catch you at.
So you all can catch me on Instagram, Elliot Iva, ELLIOTTIVA, or on Facebook, Iva Elliott.
No one's on Facebook. Chastity, where they can catch you at? I'm just kidding, Iva.
Well, if you're interested, you can catch me at Lovely Vixen 11 on Instagram. Yeah.
You got Facebook?
I have a Facebook. It says Chastity, last name B. I barely use it.
Okay, Asia.
Yeah, my Facebook It's not gonna get you very
I
far.
thought we were all social media
And
active.
my Instagram is gonna be Asia_09. Which
What's the 09?
I don't know. I was just getting on Instagram. I asked some random dude to help me set it up one day, and he put 09. So I said okay, and I never went back and changed it. So.
But it's an easy name. I love easy names on Instagram. All right, guys, you can find me StaceyH_ on Twitter, on Instagram. Iva made me get a Facebook. It's Stacey Hall. Okay.
People still tweet.
Okay, people come here.
Twitter.
I am tweet heavily.
I'm not a.
I just tweeted about the show right now.
I got all of 20 followers.
We gotta get Asia's Twitter up. Well, tell me your Twitter.
I don't know it.
Follow my Twitter and find Asia on my Twitter. Either way, it was so nice talking to these ladies today. Make sure you click the link in the bio to get the full show. And then we're gonna be coming to you guys next week with more topics. All right, bye.